The San Diego Bay is the largest body of water in San Diego. Home to military, civilians, and even a little wildlife, it is also the outlet for some of the dirtiest water in San Diego.
San Diego Bay is one of the world's finest natural harbors. One of the reasons San Diego was first explored and settled. And it has some pretty big issues now because there's a lot of industry on the bay. A lot of the industry's been there for a while and was set up while the environmental standards were different than they are today. So we need to take a look at some of these issues and make sure that we can protect all the animals and organisms that are in there. And then also urban runoff. Choyas Creek flows right into San Diego Bay. It's an impacted waterway. And a lot of the storm drains end up there as well.
3 of San Diego's watersheds drain into San Diego Bay, shedding water from inland to the bay. However, the Pueblo watershed is the most densely populated of San Diego's 10 watersheds, bringing both residential and industrial waste downstream. The Pueblo San Diego watershed is the smallest hydrologic unit in San Diego County, encompassing roughly 60 square miles of mostly urban landscape around the city of San Diego.
Urban runoff is basically the grit and grime civilization. It's non-point source pollution. You can't point to where urban runoff comes from because there's so many different sources, from cigarette butts to pet waste to leaky car fluids. You may see a couple things and think no big deal, but multiply that by the thousands and thousands and thousands of people in San Diego County and beyond, and it really starts to add up. Essentially, once it rains, everything on the streets and sidewalks flows into the storm drain system. And unfortunately, the storm drain system doesn't have any sort of filters. It's not tied into the sewage treatment system. So everything either ends up in the creeks and rivers or directly on the beach and ocean. So it's really important to make the connection between what's on the street and sidewalk and make its way out to the ocean. And folks that even live 5-10 miles inland can help keep the ocean clean by keeping the streets and sidewalks clean, because the ocean's downhill from everywhere, and everyone here in San Diego can make a difference.
The city of San Diego has over 75,000 storm drain structures, and over 200 of the storm drains empty into San Diego Bay, which means urban runoff is the biggest problem plaguing San Diego Bay. The creeks in the Pueblo watershed are highly impacted by urban runoff. Choyas Creek and the opening of the creek in San Diego Bay are listed as affected water bodies. The major pollutants found in the Choyas Creek are copper, indicator bacteria, lead, and zinc. The pollutants found along the San Diego Bay shoreline are mercury, zinc, and indicator bacteria. These pollutants have effects on the bottom layer of the bay. There is also toxic sediment and large traces of copper.
What do you think is the most devastating repercussion of the pollution in the San Diego River and beaches?
I guess what's really devastating to me personally is that in addition to people getting sick, it's also the marine life that gets affected. A lot of times we can know there's a warning to stay out of the water, but there's a fish and everything that lives out in the ocean. They don't get the warnings, they're not protected, so they need groups like Surf Rider, San Diego Coastkeeper, and other environmental organizations to help out to solve some of these problems.
Is there a way to reduce the effect of urban runoff?
Yeah, absolutely. Things like using a broom to sweep up your driveway rather than hosing it down. If you hose it down, you're going to wash all the pollutants right into the storm drain system, picking up trash where you see it, and just helping to keep the city clean in general will really make a big difference. I mentioned leaky car fluids, making sure your car is properly tuned up, making sure you don't leave a couple drops of oil everywhere, because over time it really adds up. Statistics have shown that more oil enters the ocean from urban runoff rather than from oil spills from tankers. So, try to wrap your head around some of those facts, and what we're doing on a daily basis is really impactful. So, people cause pollution, people should be able to take the steps to prevent pollution also.
The San Diego Bay!